Hello, ladies and gentlemen, the round of 16 for the Asian Cup is officially complete, so we gotta get this one out quickly as the quarterfinals are approaching very soon. But anyway, let's roll back what I had to say for the round of 16. Starting off with Tajikistan versus the UAE. Incredible underdog story so far, as this is Tajikistan's first ever AFC Asian Cup, but I think the UAE will advance here. Their future options for opponents though, Iraq versus Jordan, is tough to call. Iraq are in incredible form right now, topping their group over Japan. They're getting a lot of recognition. However, Jordan demolished Malaysia and also scored 2 goals against South Korea. I see Iraq just getting the win in a high-scoring match. Australia versus Indonesia. I would love to see Indonesia pull an upset here, but Australia should be advancing. Saudi Arabia versus South Korea, though, is going to be one hell of a match. Both are undefeated right now, but I have South Korea just winning this, even though they just conceded 3 goals to Malaysia. Iran versus Syria could be close, but Iran should win. And Japan are expected by everyone to advance over Bahrain. Qatar versus Palestine. Qatar have been in great form, 3 for 3 wins in the group stage. They should be able to beat Palestine. And finally, Uzbekistan versus Thailand. I said it since the beginning. I think Uzbekistan can have a deep run in this tournament. 6 out of 8 correct, only a bad start there as Tajikistan and Jordan advanced, and that is one of the matches for the quarterfinals. Everything else I did get correct. Some were very close though, but I am very happy with these quarterfinal matches. Now, although it's less of a headache to talk about the AFC Asian Cup, these matches are also tough to predict. I think all of them are somewhat balanced compared to one another. So I'm not fully expecting to get this 100% correct, but regardless, I'll share with you all my thoughts. As always, let me know yours though in the comments below, and don't forget to drop an early like. Let's try to hit 2,500 likes on this video. But yeah, let's start off with that match, Tajikistan versus Jordan. Both of these sides could be considered the underdogs of the tournament, but Jordan have a lot more experience in this competition. This is Jordan's 3rd time making it to the quarterfinals, whereas this is Tajikistan's 1st, and also their 1st ever AFC Asian Cup. They have been playing wonderfully, sealing their knockout spot on the final day against Lebanon, producing a remarkable comeback there, even scoring a stoppage time goal. That really just lifted up the hopes and beliefs in this nation, and they had to face the UAE next in the round of 16. Being 1-0 up for most of the match, it looked to be concerning as the UAE did score a 95th minute goal to equalize. The match went to penalties and Tajikistan made history. They were having such an incredible debut. No matter what happens in this quarterfinal match, they will be so happy with how far they've come already. The Croatian manager Šegrt, who also is nicknamed Albert Einstein, has been fantastic, tactically getting the best out of this team. Their opponents, the UAE, in the round of 16 were a much better squad on paper, and Tajikistan were able to overlook that. They have every reason to continue to believe against Jordan. However, Jordan pulled off a shock of their own. Although they have more experience in this tournament, most people expected Iraq to advance to the quarterfinals after their incredible group stage performance, even topping Japan. However, after Iraq were 2-1 up, Jordan scored 2 stoppage time goals in the 95th and 97th minute. After what looked to be the game winner from Hussein, in the 76th minute, he received a red card for his celebration. Massively controversial send-off. He has been fantastic in the AFC Asian Cup. Regardless of your thoughts on Jordan's comeback, they were also quite impressive in the group stage. They did lose to Bahrain on the final day, their only match where they scored no goals. The previous 2, they scored 2 against South Korea and 4 against Malaysia, meaning they've so far scored a total of 9 goals in the tournament. And no matter what happens with the result of this match in the quarterfinals, both these sides have the opportunity to make history. Of course, Tajikistan have already told an incredible tale, but Jordan have never made it past the quarterfinals in the AFC Asian Cup. This will be their perfect opportunity to make it all the way to the semis. Tajikistan needs to keep their defensive tactics intact. We've already seen for teams that fail to make that kind of progression, Jordan know how to easily expose them. I'm rooting for Tajikistan here because I just love the ultimate underdog story. It would be really something else if they make it all the way to the semifinals. However, with Jordan's incredible attack with the likes of Altamari, Al-Laymat, I do think that they can grab a win here. Despite Tajikistan not conceding more than 1 goal a match, I'm saying it's broken here, where Jordan do grab a 2-1 victory. Please, Tajikistan, prove me wrong though, but regardless, if Jordan win, best of luck to them in the future. Now moving on to Australia versus South Korea. Australia had the most one-sided match in the round of 16 where they crushed Indonesia 4-0. Meanwhile, South Korea just scraped through against Saudi Arabia, winning on penalties, doing so in dramatic fashion as well. They were down 1-0 for pretty much the entirety of the second half, and they scored a 99th minute goal. Both teams have strong points. I would argue that as individual players, South Korea obviously look a lot better. Heung-min Son, Kang-in Lee, Min Jae-kim. However, I'm just really not convinced in a former German national team manager in the United States, Jurgen Klinsmann. A group they look to be massive favorites to top, they finished 2nd place, conceding 6 goals as well across all 3 matches. 3 goals to Malaysia on the final day. Australia, despite not having that outlandish individuality like South Korea have, They got Graham Arnold, a manager that looked doubtful but gained the trust of the nation during the World Cup. And he's been doing very well in this tournament as well. There was some criticism on their group stage performance because they didn't look as explosive as they could have, but clearly people are taking those comments back after their massive performance against Indonesia. I know Australia looked to absolutely outmatch this side from the beginning, but there's still no denying the great performance they have. They were very clinical in that match. All of their shots on target went in. So to me, this is the toughest matchup to make a prediction on. Really could see it going either way. It doesn't make it any easier that both these sides have a very even head-to-head record against one another. I definitely don't see South Korea keeping a clean sheet in this match, as they failed to have done so in any of their previous matches, but I'm still going to say they grab a win here. I'm going to go once again for 2-1. But yes, South Korea being the one to score 2. Best of luck to the Socceroos though. Moving on to Iran versus Japan. Now, Japan were the heaviest of favorites before the tournament began. Once people saw how they performed in the group stage, how they slipped to Iraq, and how they conceded quite some goals to Vietnam, people started to doubt that pick now. And many people have been impressed with Iran since they have won all of their group stage games. But even from those group stage performances, I was not the most convinced in them, as I watched their match against Hong Kong, and boy were they lucky to grab 3 points. They made quite a few errors that many other teams would have capitalized on instantly. All Hong Kong needed were better finishers. Very lucky to get the 1-0 win, and they really scraped through against Syria in the round of 16 now. 1-1 going to penalties, and the only 2 actual goals were penalties as well. Iran dominated for most of that match, but missed many chances. Syria failed to create a lot until Taremi, Iran's goal scorer, got sent off. During extra time, it actually looked much more 50-50. Seemed like both nations wanted to go to pens, and Iran were victorious there. Meanwhile, Japan's round of 16 fixture, I think they have been exposed defensively this tournament themselves. They've conceded at least 1 in every match, and Bahrain's goal was a clumsy own goal, but in most of their matches, they are scoring loads of goals. And with Taremi gone, who is Iran's most lethal weapon up top, Japan's defense can have a bit of a sigh of relief. Of course, they still have the likes of Azmoun, but I think that Japan have what it takes to outscore Iran here. I'm going for a 3-1 victory once again for Japan. With Taremi gone and Iran already not looking good, converting their chances, I could be surprised here, but I think Japan is the safe pick. And finally, Qatar versus Uzbekistan. I think on paper, most people are going to pick Qatar to advance. They're the hosts, they're the previous champions, and so far they are undefeated in this competition, grabbing 4 for 4 wins. Uzbekistan are also undefeated, but they did pick up 2 draws, and they have been missing some key players in this competition. But regardless, many other players are stepping up. I make some bad predictions, I know, but I got this one spot on. I thought Faizullayev would be a standout player in this competition, and he very much has been. He scored the game winner against Thailand, who looked to have a very solid defense before that match. They also had Australia struggle sharing a point with them. This side, if they had all their players fully fit, I think could be a lot more explosive. And I actually had this matchup in my bracket from my initial predictions, where I had Uzbekistan going through. I really think this side have what it takes to have a deep underdog run here. Qatar's 3 most well-known players have been scoring all the goals. Al Haidos, Akram Afif, Almaz Ali, all pulling the strings. Despite Uzbekistan still being impressive, even with missing the likes of Shomurodov, Qatar seem to be the favorites in this fixture. But I'm not going to back out on my initial predictions. I gotta keep believing in Uzbekistan. I'm saying they make it to the semifinals. And I'm saying they do so by beating Qatar 2-1. If you even really want to consider that, I guess this is my upset for this round. But I think it's more of a fair matchup than people make it out to be. Uzbekistan have a very electric side that can catch many teams off guard. So they're my pick. But yeah, there you have it, guys. Those are all of my quarterfinal predictions for the AFC Asian Cup. Let me know yours in the comments below, like I said. Don't forget to hit that like button. And yeah, very impressed with this tournament so far. Hopefully we have some more exciting moments. I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care. Lá com nós.